The difference. And then even auto-tune. I know a producer would probably want to auto-tune our stuff if we played it to an extent. If we recorded it, I know we were about to go down to Austin and record pre-COVID. We're getting ready for it.
Yeah.
And it sucks that we didn't get to. We were practicing and lay down at least 4 songs, but I would have a big problem. You mentioned it earlier, but your voice gets nice and raspy, especially late in the evening, early in the morning. But
I appreciate that, but I still think I'm a great singer. But
dynamic and adds character to the vocals.
It is what it is.
And it doesn't, even if it's not perfect pitch or in tune all the time, most people don't notice. It doesn't have to be, and there's this rawness around it. And I would hate to auto-tune that out.
Yeah, I wouldn't let anybody auto-tune my voice out.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest voice by any means. I don't, like I said, I
I
don't consider myself a singer, but I sing out of necessity because you won't.
Look at Tom Petty. So there's people either really love him or hate him. He has arguably one of the most unique voices ever. His song comes on, you hear it. To me, and most of the time it's in pitch and it's in key. Super unique. It's hard to cover his songs and do a good job, like Free Fall.
It really is.
Hardly anybody can pull that song off.
It's really hard, yeah.
But you know it's Tom, and there was something very unique, even if he wasn't technically a great vocalist. And I would argue against that too, because he hits some notes. He's always in key.
Yeah.
He's just got his voice, his singing voice. He's almost like Joe Walsh. It sounds just like his speaking voice. And you could say the same about Joe. But to me, it's so unique. It's just incredible, and there's nothing else like it. And we were talking about Neil Young earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some people like that. Tom York is one of those. Radiohead. Now, Radiohead, honestly, is not only an unbelievably creative band, but they're technically, I can never find anything wrong with what they do.
No.
They are technical geniuses. But Tom York's voice turns a lot of people off. When you first hear him, he just has a different voice. Mm-hmm. But it's like one of those things, you know, that might actually be part of the problem right there. We might have just solved one of the world's mysteries here, Colt. Nowadays, you only get a few seconds of hearing a song, and if you're like, I like that voice, you change it.
Like, fuck it, yeah.
Done.
Yeah, Spotify and Pandora.
Things like that, yeah. So
even the radio, even like XM, you can rewind. You can't really skip, but you plug your phone in, you can skip everything.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to pay.
Yeah. So maybe that's what it is nowadays attention spans. Well, you can just look at the length of music now and see that attention spans for music are a fraction of what it used to be. Yeah, man, like in the 60s, 70s, you hit that like rock heyday.
14-minute Doors song, Led Zeppelin. Now it's 2.5 minutes. And I'm rolling the dice and I'm done, man.
Yeah, and any song over the 3-minute mark, the magic 3, you know, is iffy nowadays.
But it's like you asked it because our songs hit right in about that. So you gotta,
No, I'm not saying like a negative thing.
They cap it and crop it almost like a photo.
-3.
Yeah.
But I mean, in all honesty, you have to be in pretty good shape. Singing and playing, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So singing and playing a freaking 6-minute song, I'm like, yeah, I don't think so, man.
That's why you're in good shape.
Well, try. But so we touched on something earlier with speaking of music, and you were talking about the songs being brought back and pretty much made around a guitar is like the focal part of it.
Yeah.
That's like the main thing. So one of the things for me has always been, even if I like a song better, like Tears in Heaven or something like that, a song like that, even if I was like, yeah, that's a better song, but there is always something that's absolutely fascinated me, and I have been, as a musician, an individual will earn my respect as a musician more than any other musician if they walk up on stage with nothing but a guitar and sit there and play a song and sing their heart out.
And that statement, I would imagine you mean not only from a fellow musician, but as just a general fan. It doesn't matter if you play or not. That stripped down rawness is so rare these days.
It is so rare. And
Ben Harper killed it 20 years ago, but
Ben Harper is the reason I started playing guitar.
I wanted to ask you that earlier.
I'll never forget. I did some illicit things.
In New Orleans?
No, this was actually. So I moved back. This was in college. I'd never heard Ben Harper.
Going numb. I gotta move around.
I'd never heard Ben Harper.
Is that a disability, numbass?
And then one night, I don't do this anymore, but you know, I dabbled with the marijuana back in my older days. And I was in a truck with Cliff Morgan and Jared. I don't remember Jared's last name, but Jared had a really good sound system in his truck.
We're still rolling, aren't we? You can see that better than I can.
Oh yeah.
Box usually means rolling.
We're over an hour, yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah,
perfect.
I hope you didn't think it was going to be easy, right? Like it's going to be like, oh, 30 minutes.
No, fuck no.
So,
I've dropped the F-bomb twice now, by the way. Shame on you.
You've done what?
I've dropped the F-bomb twice.
Oh. You're a fucking asshole. Anyway, so...
True that.
So I never really showed a lot of interest in playing guitar. And then one night I'd had a few drinks and then I took like 2 hits off of a pipe, I think, something like that.
Like a just typical pipe, like stone.
Yeah, just sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we went out in Jared's truck, he turned it on, and this song came on because they were telling me about this guy, Ben Harper, I need to listen to.
Incredible.
And I'm like, all right.
Still to this day.
And this song came on, and it was like this build up to it, and then it just goes.
Very basic chords, perfect.
And it just man, I don't know. From that moment on, I was hooked, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna learn to play guitar because I want to do that. I want to do that right there. And then the crazy thing is once I learned to play guitar, I realized what a genius he actually is, Ben Harper, because his shtick is he takes the most simple chords, like you said, the most simple chords, most simple chord progressions, and he plays them with this rhythm, and you're just like, that is the most beautiful thing.
And technically, he's an incredible musician, guitar player. He could shred, but he understands the value of not shredding all the time.
He understands the value of understated, subdued.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just that, I'll never forget that Hands of Prayer, just because it comes in and it goes,
it's a good song.
Boom, boom.
Was that Both Sides of the Gun? No, that was way before then. That was even before Live on Mars.
Was that Burn to Shine?
Maybe. Speaking of Ben and our relationship as friends, I wouldn't play guitar the way I do now if you wouldn't have introduced me to Ben Harper.
It's
because I was
different,
an instant
right?
fan, like Live from Mars, and then you hear all the songs that were before that.
Number 3, I
and
love
after it. Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah, I use that song all the time as state park videos and images, backgrounds. I'm playing it. Waiting on an Angel.
Yeah, man.
You want to play a little? You might as well sing it because I think you're incredible at that song.
Let me see. It's been a long time.
Just a little clip.
Let me see. I need to scoot that back here because it's kind of in my way.
Slide it back for you. I think I can do that much.
Let's see. Oh, I haven't played that song in age.
Yep.
But it's really slow.
Yeah, I tend to play too fast.
Waiting on an angel, want to carry me home. Hope you come see me soon, 'cause I don't wanna go alone. I don't wanna go alone. Angel, won't you come by me? Angel, hear my plea. Take my hand and lift me up so that I can fly with thee. So that I can fly with thee. And I'm waiting for an angel, and I know it won't be long. Ah, I screwed up.
So is it 9:14? You and I were cruising on the first time I probably ever heard that song. I heard Another Lonely Day was the first one you ever played for me.
God, I love that song
And
too,
Waiting
man.
on an Angel. Yeah, it's a whole step down, I think.
It is a whole step down, but I play that song a lot, honestly.
Yeah, you're good at it too. You
I
may have
love
to
it.
play in a second. And then Burn One Down, of course.
Oh yeah.
And I was freaking hooked.
Give me a solid.
I got you, brother. Got you covered. I may have to take a little restroom break so we can release some of this mezcal and bourbon. Or you can jam and I can take off.
Yeah, you can take off for a second. I'll play something.
Why don't you play Another Lonely Day? It's a good one.
Maybe. I got a little something else in there, maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
1 minute show for now. I'm gonna get some more ice. And I'm gonna rob this redemption.
All right, let's see. Since you left me, I will play a song. So, my younger brother Aaron, we spoke about earlier, he had this relationship of sorts with this young girl at the time. Her name was Adelheid. It's a very crazy name, and there's nothing bad in the song, so I'll go ahead and say her name. But they had this like off and on relationship kind of thing, and then at a certain point, she was with somebody and still had feelings for Aaron, and he still had feelings for her, and they had this whole like weird push-pull relationship thing going on. So I wrote a song about her, and it's basically about her temptation and the struggles that she dealt with that. So here we go. There's a girl who is a mystery to everyone she's ever known. Headstrong and combative, feels like she has to be a stone. And to the world she is a woman, clouds will always hide. She's as elusive and intriguing as a tattoo on her thigh. There's a devil on her shoulder and an angel in her heart. She can't understand the demons when their dark exhaustion starts. Will she let them have their moment, or will she keep them all at bay? Will she give in to temptation, no regrets, she walked away? So she wrestles with the voices that bounce around inside her head. And though she can't quite understand them or the conflicts that they've said, she tries hard to be honest, fair and just and kind, since very few can understand she feels trapped inside her mind. With the devil on her shoulder and an angel in her heart, she can't understand the demons when their dark exhaustion start. Or will she let them have the moment, or will she keep them all at bay? Was she given to temptation or regret? She walked away. So I see that she's conflicted. I offer her advice about the angels and the demons and the lessons learned in life. We all want to be perfect. We weren't made to see that way. So be an angel and a demon and live your life day by day. With the devil on her shoulder and an angel in her heart, she can't understand the demons when their dark exhaustions start. Or will she let them have their moment, or will she keep them all at bay? Was she given to temptation or regret? She walked away. We all want to be perfect. We weren't made to be that way. So be an angel and a demon and just live your life day by day.
Beautiful. So you may have said before I walked up, but what's the story behind that song?
Oh yeah, so I touched on it a little bit. So that was Aaron and this girl that he was sweet on. We met in a restaurant one night. It was Aaron and his friend and myself. And this cute little bubbly thing came up, and we later learned that she fought the other waitresses and said, "I'm taking that table, not you."
That's impressive. Yeah. Impressive effort.
That was an impressive effort on her behalf, yeah.
Yeah.
So before we left, I'm a married man, so I was like, "Aaron, I will disown you as my brother if you don't get her number," because clearly,
no names, I know who it is.
Clearly, I've already said all the hype. There's nothing wrong with it, and
no.
she's divorced now anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh.
So clearly, it wasn't meant to be, and so he kind of toyed around a little bit, and they had this thing going, and it never really worked out, and she met this guy and she started dating him, but she was always hung up on Aaron and he could never get her out of his head. And then finally one time she came and picked him up one day and they were just going to chat. And she later divulged to me that, because I gave her the lyrics to the song and I think I played it for her maybe. And she was like, "Well, I'm sad to say I gave in to temptation." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So that was what it's about. And it was just seeing that situation, you know.
We're
and
only human, man. We're only human.
We're only human, yeah. But that was the thing I was talking about earlier. It's like I've written songs that are about me, you know, and some of those are pain and angst that I have, you know what I mean? Tonight, that was about my relationship with the girl that I was engaged to, Christy, because she called me later on, like years later, when we lived over. Remember that house I lived on Long Street that had that wood kitchen that had these immaculate...
That was a cool house.
Yeah, the acoustics in that kitchen were just fantastic.
Your roommates kind of sucked, but...
They were horrid.
We won't go there.
Nah, they were horrid. But,
we wrote a bunch of good songs in that.
Yeah.
That was an interesting time. That was circa 2008, probably.
Yeah, somewhere in there, yeah.
I was going through some things. I was kind of sleazy.
No, man, I went in 2008 at that point, I would think, because I hadn't even met. I was still doing merchandising. So I started doing the production manager thing in 2007.
So it must have been 06. It would have been my very first year of college.
Yeah, it was really early on.
I was going through that tough post breakup from a long relationship in high school.
High school girl.
To kind of being a little sleazy, being a little bit of a hoe.
We're only human.
We are.
you might have had someone who was older and had been through that gave you guidance and probably steered you in the wrong direction.
Great
on that
encouragement,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, that was my bad.
Sorority girls.
It's my bad, and you're welcome. But yeah, that I was just sitting on the couch watching TV one night, I think, and I get this text, and I'm like, well, who is this? You know, and it was her, it was Christy, and I'm like, well, what's going on with you?
Isn't she OUS or was? Outside the United States.
Oh, I don't know.
Freaking business terms, I'm sorry.
I haven't.
You have no desire to. All right.
Yeah. But anyway, so she messaged me and then she called me and she's like, you know, chatting or whatever. I'm like, well, what's going on? She's like, well, I'm really scared. I'm like, well, it's unfortunate. What's going on with you, you know? And then she said that the guy that she was with, Garth. Anyway, I never liked the guy. Not because of that, just because he was a douche, but he was an Air Force guy. And she said, well, he got really angry and he I don't remember if she said he hit her or picked her up and threw her or something, but whatever it was physical.
She wasn't a very big person either, was she?
No, it was physical and it terrified her. And for
terrible,
me,
man.
She was in Wichita Falls at the time. They were based in the Air Force Base there. And I was just like, why? Of all the people that you know in your life and you've had in your past lives, your past,
Yeah.
why would you call me? And she's like, I don't know. I just
trusted you the most.
I
Didn't
guess,
that guy look like you too?
No, he was not good looking. I didn't mean that as an I am. I just meant he's like.
Of course you are.
Yeah. I'm not modest, I will admit, but I know my limitations.
You're a handsome dude. Don't sell yourself short.
But yeah, so
especially since you've grown a beard.
Yeah, you like that?
Someone may have encouraged that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're welcome to on that one, right?
Yeah, I love you a long time.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just it was so weird, man. She just called out of nowhere. And I'm like, why? Why are you calling me? And so that was the inspiration for that song because obviously tonight you will think of me tonight. You know.
We gotta play it. I don't want to do the first part. We're just gonna go straight into the power chords because I've had way too much mezcal and now bourbon.
I'm gonna get a little more bourbon. You're drinking bourbon now? How much mezcal did you drink?
Not very much. You can't tell because of the label.
I can tell. You've had a half a bottle.
It's not a half a bottle.
I'm sorry, it's an optical illusion. It's a third. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah.
It's a third for sure.
Things like that, you know. So that song was written, you know, from that perspective. But there was some, you know, like I don't know if I can take it. She came home after being naked. Songs like that.
Don't make me start to play it. That little bass line. Do I remember how to play it?
It was really, it's like.
What are those chords I can't tell from here? I did this bass line over that.
It's B minor?
Yeah.
It's the same chords, same exact chords as, we're in the same tuning, bro, Tito.
That's what's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're more sober than I am.
Right.
Mezcal.
It's the same chords as Bourbon Street. So Bourbon Street's.
That's the song I played the bass on
too. Well, I met the devil on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. She had fiery red hair, woven skin-tight leather jeans. Well, emerald eyes looked through me, woven pit into my soul, into my soul. She had the lips of an angel, but her heart was black as coal. I think about that lady and how she haunts my darkest dreams. darkest dreams, the night I met the devil, on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, Bourbon Street in New Orleans, whoa, Bourbon Street. Surrounded by her demons, she pulled me deep into her heart, to her heart. No Bible verse could save me, I was damned right from the start. As I descended deeper, I prayed that this was just a dream, just a dream, 'cause all I heard was laughter amidst the agony of screams. I think about that lady and how she haunts my darkest dream, my darkest dreams. The night I met the devil on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, Bourbon Street in New Orleans, whoa, Bourbon Street, oh, Bourbon Street. I think about that lady and how she haunts my darkest dreams.
So, brief story behind that.
I don't know where that came from. Sorry, that just came out of nowhere. What'd you say?
What's the story behind that song?
Oh, so the story behind that song was, well, okay. So that was whenever the inspiration for that song happened when I was in high school when I lived in New Orleans.
What high school did you go to?
Hahnville High School.
So is there like a Hahnville pride thing you do? Like, what's a mascot or the sign? Or...
Tigers, a Hahnville Tiger.
Tigers, all right.
I don't give a crap about high school.
Tell me the rest of that song.
That was more than half my life ago, man. But anyway, so I didn't play guitar or anything at that point in time because I was in high school, you know. But we went downtown, I think it was Mardi Gras time. We went downtown, and that was back in my days when I was younger and partook of the Mary Jane, you know what I mean? So we did some of that. Yeah, did some of that, and then we had been drinking. So we were walking around, and then we're walking down Bourbon Street. Ironically enough, that's where the name came from, you know? And I saw this woman, and she was redheaded, fair-skinned, green-eyed, and just
dangerous, man.
She had on like leather, looked like a leather jumpsuit, like Catwoman kind of a thing, you know what I mean? And I was pretty buzzed at the time, so all I remember thinking to myself was, any woman or anything that beautiful has got to be the devil, because the red hair, you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I was all buzzed up, so in my mind, I'm like, I saw the devil, because the only thing that tempting,
why not?
The only thing that tempting and just perfect, I was like, it had to be the devil. So that was the inspiration for the song, yeah. So
it's cool that you had that memory, and then you weren't even a guitar player, and you wrote that song probably a decade later.
About a decade later, yeah.
When you and I were jamming, because I remember like that bass line, like I'm not a bass player, but it's like somehow it works. I remember that's like the only thing I had in my head to do to that song.
But what else do you need to do, right?
Yeah.
And see, that's one of those things like we were talking about earlier with the weird rhythms and stuff. That's a rhythm I've tried to get other people to play it, and they have the hardest time, probably because I change it and it doesn't make a lot of sense.
And I'm like,
but it's
okay,
like,
I can't play it, so I'm going to play bass, but I'm not a bass player.
actually not even played in this tuning, but I adapted over it and botched it too bad. Actually felt good to play it. I haven't played it, sing it in a while, so.
We haven't played that song together in probably like 6 or 7 years.
I got a little lead.
So you talk about Aaron, your brother, but I would really love for you to play the song Aaron and tell the story behind it without disclosing too much.
Okay.
Let's get this a little closer.
So since this is your show, why don't you take that for a minute?
This is a Matt Bouquet episode.
Well, it is, but you take it for a minute because now I have to go relieve myself.
I guess I'm gonna have to play the song I wrote for you and Emma's wedding, which I'm
Our wedding song. I love it.
pretty proud of it. While you're gone, just instrumental.
That's funny. I picked up my guitar and you see all the kids' stuffed animals stuck over there.
It's part of being a dad. This is raw, real bullshitting stuff.
The bearded Texan.
Right.
You know what I thought of the first time you said that? I thought of the bearded clam.
Oh, God. We're not going to go there. We're keeping this
No, we're not.
R-rated, minus my F-bombs.
Yeah.
So this is a song I wrote for Matt and Emma's wedding in 2012. If I can play it without messing it up. But it's just called the wedding song, so it's instrumental. Oh, I messed it up. Let's start over, kind of. So this is exactly why I don't play guitar after drinking bourbon and mezcal. But I'm actually really proud of that song. And that chord progression actually turned into a song I was writing for my grandfather after he passed away in 2014. I just never finished it. And Matt and I really need to. But I'm pretty proud of that wedding song. And I remember during the wedding, I was jamming, and
for like 7 minutes because they walked for a freaking 3/4 of a mile.
And I remember looking over at your brother Mark and being like, what do I do? And he's like, just keep playing, it's beautiful. And that was all the reassurance I needed. And I just ended up starting over on that song again and just went.
Thanks for that, by the way.
Yeah. But we recently, in October, started writing words around this finally.
Yeah, but I don't know that it needs it.
I don't think so. 10 years later. Good stopping point to make sure we are all saved here.